Well, here we are again. It's another Let's Play the God Game live stream. Thank you for joining us, Paul and Ingo, especially the early birds as always. I am here by myself today. However, I have been hanging out with Lorna most of this week because she's been down. She was down for the Dave Daggers thing last Friday. More about that later. But while I was down, I took the opportunity to, some of you will have seen, not only do a little live in the front room version of His Finest Creation, which incidentally is the song that we are working on today, but also I did a little interview with her to talk about her role in it, of how it was all kind of, how it went down in our family house as I was putting together this monstrosity of an album. So we're going to start with His Finest Creation, and this is the album version. We're going to close out with the single version, which has bass and drums on it, but this is the album version, and this is the record spin of the album version, coming your way any second now.
In all the years through the centuries, this was my finest creation. Through birth and death, sunshine and tears, yes, you were my finest creation. My childhood really wasn't the best, but I learned of love through this little place. Now we finally lay them to rest. All I see is your face. I recall a time when the sun still shone. It gave warmth to my greatest creation. I overplayed my hand. Now it's all gone. Still you were my favorite creation. I was hypnotized by the chase. Some folk were a little upset, though my heart was in the right place. Still I wake and if you'll hear out this old fool's advice, you're successful as the last hand you played. But I paid out the heaviest price for those memories I saved. In all the years through the centuries, this was my finest creation. Through birth and death, sunshine and tears, yes, you were my finest creation. finest creation.
Ah, there we are. There we are. His finest creation. One of my favourite songs from the album. I know it's a wee gentle thing, but it's quite nice. Quite a nice little thing. It's got quite a interesting way of putting the chords together, and that is it is a little bit odd, but it's something that I've used before, and I think I mentioned it before. It's based on what Paul McCartney did on Blackbird. You know, where he did that. I use fingers for this. Well, the sound of that chord is just a 2-finger chord, and you can do a whole scale on that. And that's what that's based on. And there's a few of them other songs that I kind of use that device on, which has got a nice way. Instead of having big full chords all the time, you've got kind of little teeny little ones that it's a sparser sound, but quite a nice sound. In classical terms, you're using just the root note and the third, but they're actually split an octave apart. So it covers a lot of space, but essentially you can describe the chords with just those 2 notes. So it works very nicely. So as I said, I've been working a bit with Lorna while she's been down, because of course she's doing her debut on playing guitar. But also, I mean, although Lorna and I have been on stage a fair bit here and there, and actually you'll see something we did later on, we'll play you something. She's not really used to playing guitar live, so that's a bit out of her comfort zone. Even though she's played guitar for quite a few years, she's kind of just more part-time than anything, so it's a little bit more of a big deal with her, especially as I've got to play in the main acoustic guitar part for When I Create Man. Yeah, thought we'd take her out of her comfort zone a little bit. Anyway, she's been practicing that, and it's pretty good. As I said on the record spin thing, yeah, she knows all the chords, but not necessarily in the right order. I foresee no problems whatsoever. It's going to be fantastic. So I do have a little interview with her coming up. But I think we'll look at the quiz question first. In Thai modern tradition, we try and actually make it a wee bit topical. So, in fact, this question is about Lorna, and most people will kind of have an inkling of the answer to this, but maybe not necessarily the complete answer. So there we are. I'll tell you the prize. And this is quite an interesting one, and you'll see why in a couple of minutes. The prize is twofold. One, Lorna has written 2 songs. They were written quite a long time ago, but both recorded with me here, kind of produced with me here. And I always thought they were really good. And I think I played one previously, a song called Waves. But I'm going to play a song called Dull July, which is something like she played. In fact, let's do that now, shall we? Let's play Dull July now. Because the prize that I'm going to give you, one of them is those 2 songs are Lorna's coupled with other things that she's done with us collectively. And also maybe a couple of posters, if anyone fancies a couple of posters. Posters of your choice. They're all behind us here, all the Corgis ones and all of the Al Steele ones. There we are. I'm going to play you Dull July, which is this, and I'm going to stick her up on screen. Yeah.
Okay, I'd be lying. it's the same. Because when it rains outside, I feel it inside too. Oh Lord, it's a shame. The sun always shines in California. Everybody smiles, 'cause it's not a cloud for miles. Maybe I should move to California. Then maybe I'd be happy for a while. Maybe I should move to California. California. Maybe I should move to California. Oh, the sun must be in a bad way, because it hasn't been seen or heard in weeks, too afraid to show its face. Leaving in the morning it's dark, and coming home it's the same. Because when it rains outside, I feel it inside too. Oh Lord, it's a shame.
Oh yeah, it is a damn shame, isn't it? Lorna wrote that when she was about 16. We recorded it here in this control room, just kind of worked through it the way it'd work with anyone else. The thing I kind of always impressed me with Lorna, because she did some singing early on when she was 13 and 14, did some cover songs, is her perseverance. She would always just go, no, do it again, no, I can do it better than that, it's not good enough. Do it again. So very much a perfectionist, but willing to work hard to get the end result. That's really what you need in order to do great recordings, is you do it until it's perfect, until you get it as good as you can. Also, the other thing about her is she always sings with her own voice. She never imitates anyone. I've heard her do Elvis songs, and she doesn't sound anything like Elvis on these Elvis songs. You know, I've heard her do Love Me Tender, and it's like, it's just completely her own version, which is great. People hear her stuff and go, oh, who's that? That's quite an interesting voice, isn't it? So the prize is that song and Waves and a few of the other things. And let's get the quiz question. Let's get the quiz question up on the screen there. So I've got a few too many things lying around here. Okay, yep, there we are. Let's get it up on the screen. So this is it. Lorna Darknell has featured on one Corgi song and 4 Al Steele and Friends songs. What are they? And for the tiebreaker, put them in order that we recorded them. Not order they were released, order that we recorded them. So Lorna Darknell has featured on one Corgi song and 4 Al Steele and Friends songs. What are they? I had to think about this for a little while. Anyway, that's the quiz question. It's a tricky one. It's not something you can just easily look up here or there. But if you put your mind to it, I reckon you'll probably get it. Yeah, reckon you'll probably get it. So there we are. I'm going to pull us back down to here now. Yeah, very good, very good, very good. I think the next up, I think we are going to do the little chat with Lorna. I mean, this is normally where I'd have a chat with a guest about what we're going to do and all of that sort of stuff. So I think we'll fill this in at that point, and then maybe we'll do the little live version of his finest creation a wee bit later on. So here we are. I'm going to give you, this is the Lorna Darknell interview, if I can find it. There's a few other interesting things coming up here that people might not have heard as well. But here we are. First of all, let's do the interview. Going up on screen now. So I'm here with Lorna Darknell, who plays the part of Demeter, who is, interestingly, the the god of food and wine.
Two great things.
Which seems very fitting for the sort of a lot of the kind of dinners and stuff that we have. I mean, Laura and I are both kind of foodies in a way. We kind of like cooking all sorts of different things and stuff like that. So I just figured that Demeter, the god of food and wine, would be a brilliant sidekick to Gordon, who is, God knows what he is the god of. But anyway, theoretically, Gordon created the earth. And so all the way through this project, I've been bringing songs back, haven't I? I've been bringing songs back and going, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think? And it's been mixed reactions. Sometimes people go, oh, I don't want to do that. No, it's good. And I come back especially with the song where I said, it's a woman's lib song, and you went, it didn't sound much like woman's lib to me, you know, be patient. Well, you know what I mean, bloody patient. So anyway, there were a few lyric changes on that.
Yeah, I sent back some feedback on that.
Yeah, quite a lot of feedback. And also, I think there was an overriding thing, because I was surrounded, I think it was you, it was Kerry, and Sarah, I think we're all the same, where we're all talking about this song, Come Summer. And I think you were going, more work needed, definitely on the lyrics, and Kerry's going, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure it's, you know, I don't think it's your strongest one. And I was adamant, I was going, I think this is the strongest song on the album. And I have been borne out by that, because that has been the overriding thing, is people who come back and gone, Come Summer, that's the song on the album.
But perhaps not the first version.
Not the first version, but all the elements were there on the first version. We just did some tweaks to things here and there. But it's number 43 in the Heritage chart at the moment. So it's climbing. It's gone up 10 places every week. So I'm hopefully going to go another 10 this week.
Watch this space.
Yeah. So this week on the show, of course, we're talking about the song His Finest Creation. And Lorna and I did a video for that in the Battle Abbey car park.
Yes, yeah. The first, so I live in Hastings on the south coast, and the initial request was, please could we film a video in Hastings Castle, against the backdrop of the castle, which I thought might have been quite busy.
Actually, it was closed.
As a filming location.
It's closed at the moment. Hastings Castle is closed altogether for refurb.
refurb.
Yeah. So that was out.
I then put forward potentially some little known about caves in Hastings. We would have had to go there in the dark, so it would have maybe been a bit risky.
We weren't sure if anyone else was living in these caves or not, you know.
Yeah.
If there were any homeless people living in the caves or whatever, it was quite a possibility.
Yeah. And in the end, unrelatedly, we'd gone on a walk to Battle Abbey, where the Battle of Hastings actually happened. Mm-hmm. Good fact. Not in Hastings, in Battle. As we were leaving, we were pulling out of the car park.
Yeah, we'd had something to eat, and dusk was falling.
Yes.
And we were going, actually, this isn't such a bad place for it here. There's this old kind of brick wall, kind of black bricks.
For context, you wanted it to look like a prison cell.
Yeah. We wanted it to look like, because this is after Second Coming, where Gordon descends in the lift and goes down, and I guess what happens is we pick up the story perhaps a year or so later, when unfortunately I think Demeter's been taken down with him as his sidekick. She did all the coding for everything, you know, but she probably wasn't responsible, but a bit like anything else, you know. She had to go down with him, so they've been sat there for a couple of years and there's nothing more to say, and they're just kind of staring ahead into the blackness.
Significant discussion about the fact that had to be sitting, staring ahead.
Yeah, well, I just didn't think you could be in a prison cell stood for several years. I think I would have at least given you a chair.
Yeah, so we got out the stools under the floodlights in Battle Alley car park that we bought in the car boot. Yeah,
and that's it. And at the beginning of it, Gordon has this bright idea that he might click his fingers and his guitar might suddenly appear again, forgetting that, of course, all of his godly powers have been eradicated. He's been stripped of everything basically. Even his white suit. And in fact, you'll notice I'm wearing black at the moment. That is what I was wearing in the car park because he's no longer got his white suit. I think he had his white hat. That was it. There was the one thing that they let him keep was his white hat. So he clicks his fingers, his guitar doesn't appear, he tries it again, you know, he really gets, clicks his fingers, guitar doesn't appear, and then Lorna hands me the guitar.
Unceremoniously.
Yeah, that's it. And we do the song in the car park, which actually I think the video came out quite well. It's very dark. And at the time we knew it was pretty dark, but we kind of thought, oh, well, that's kind of okay because it is a damp, dark cell, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's probably the lowest point, other than perhaps around the flood time. There's a few low points around then. But the lowest point in the whole story, certainly for Gordon, and he hasn't kind of made his comeback yet, or he hasn't made his plea for a comeback yet. So just both sat down in there. That's where it all happens.
Fun day out filming. The groundskeeper wandered in at one point, and I could see him staring from over in the corner. So,
he probably thought we were setting explosives in the wall or something, didn't he?
The last car left in the car park like an hour after Battle Abbey had closed.
Yeah, it was quite funny. It's one of those things, and perhaps I'm a bit more used to doing these things, so I go, who cares? People come in, cars come in, it doesn't matter. But you're going, wait till they go, wait till the other cars go.
Also, you live 5 hours away from there. I live 20 minutes away.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, you're not exactly a huge celebrity around Hastings. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Maybe depends how high up the heritage chart it gets, this song.
Well, it's come summer with Stuart, but I'm thinking of releasing His Finest Creation as a single at some point, because we have got a single version of it, which at some point in this kind of live stream we will play that single version of it, because it's slightly different to the album version. But the album version is just very pared back. I think there's only 2 instruments on it. I think there's only guitar and piano and vocals, and that's it. It's a very stripped back kind of thing. Of course, Lorna, you open the beginning of the whole thing with me. There's only you and me really on that first track, and so that's what we're going to do live. Is we're going to both open it. Not sure if Sarah's going to be, if Lorna's going to be able to make it for the first show at the Earl Hague, but certainly the second show at Chapel Arts, she will be there. And yeah, we open the show before the whole kind of cast come on, and we launch into When I Create Man. So it should be funny. And you've been practicing When I Create Man as well.
I have, yeah.
Starring on guitar on that one.
Yes, we were rehearsing just yesterday. Some more rehearsals need to do. But it's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. She was complaining that why do you need to write such complicated songs?
Yeah.
Well, that's what everyone said all the way through the album, isn't it? That's what Paul Smith's been saying. He's been going, God, I've got to play all of these live.
Makes complete sense in your head.
Yeah, well, I think the basic, because I have a framework of what it's going to be, and perhaps I had a framework of what the whole album would be, and whenever I was writing stuff, even if it's instrumental parts or whether it's more songs or whatever, it fitted loosely into that whole framework of everything. So all of it, to an extent, makes sense to me, and it usually makes sense to other people after they hear it. Like Paul's drumming makes sense to him after he hears it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that actually it does work." There's been some. There's been a lot of stuff all the way through where it's we've kind of had to pull things out in the bag to really get them to work. This is not the kind of show that you can bash your way through it, as everyone's found out.
Hard way.
Yeah, there we are. And so you only have a few starring moments of the show. You've got the opening of it. And then, when are you back next? It's not. I think you don't. You don't really come back until we do the Let's Play the God Game reprise, isn't it? And then at the end, His Finest Creation. And then actually at the end, everybody will be on stage for the the grand finale of it. So that should be good.
Very excited.
Well, very excited. Yes, indeed. And there we are. So yeah, come along to the gigs, and you can see what a hash we make of it, or whether it is 100% perfection, which of course is what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
There we are.
You won't find out unless you're there.
No, you have to come. Yeah, there we are. I think we'll sign off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you in Chapel Arts.
See you there. All right, bye. Yeah, there we are. That was our lovely little chat that we had there. What I was going to say, Lorna is, of course, involved in a couple of other things there. We're going to be doing a rendition of The Perfect Song because my granddaughter Emily is going to come on and sing with us on that. That's going to be in the first little bit before we go into Let's Play the God Game. We're going to do this in a little bit of a weird way, and the fact that we're going to play 4 or 5 songs. In fact, Paul G, you are on earlier before we do the Let's Play the God Game. So I think 4th song in or something like that, and then we're going to finish that little section with The Perfect Song with Lorna and Emily on there before we do the first half of the Let's Play the God Game, and then we're going to have a break at the end of Come Summer, just so you don't do the whole thing in one go, so you get a little bit of a breather, and then we come back with Lucky Jim for the second half, and then we'll finish off with some other stuff. Joe Matera will come on towards the end after the Let's Play the God Game stuff, and we'll do a few things with Joe. So that should all be very exciting. Looking forward to it a lot. We have a rehearsal, full band rehearsal, a week today. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Always kind of enjoy doing that, hearing the things come to life. And then, next week's live stream, we're theoretically doing the finale of the Let's Play the God Game. So we're thinking we might actually just get together and have another little party like we did for the opening of it and see who can make it. I don't think Dan can make it next week because she'll be out already all day. But then perhaps the following week, and this would have to be earlier in the day, we might actually live stream the rehearsal. Might be all of it, or it might be some of it. It might be too long to do all of it. We'll see. I think I'm using my phone as a camera, so that may well die halfway through that. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see whether we can, get that to work or not. I'll probably need to put a couple of mics up to get the sound to be good enough. Because usually what happens is the drums come thundering out and we don't hear much else. But let's see how it, let's see whether we can do something with it. Could be interesting. Yeah, there we are. So Paul G, I see you have made you've made a good guess there. Excellent, well done. I think I'm gonna play you the finest creation that Lorna and I did live. Here we go. Before we launch into the Sonar songs, a little bit of it. Yeah, I think that's right. That all looks like it. So I'm just gonna check on my crib sheet here that I'm doing this right. Yeah, I think so. I think that's all. That's all pretty good. Yeah, we've got plenty to play for later on. So yeah, let's play this now. This is Lorna and I doing his finest creation live up on the screen any second anyway.
Lorna and I are doing a couple of rehearsals for the Let's Play the God Game gig at Chapel Arts on April the 18th. Hope to see you there. This is one of my favourite songs, and perhaps one of yours as well, called His Finest Creation. In all the years, through the centuries, this was my finest creation. Through birth and death, sunshine and tears, yes, you were my finest creation. My childhood really wasn't the best. Still I've learned to love through this little place. Though we finally lay them to rest, all I see is your face. recall a time when the sun still shone. It gave warmth to my greatest creation. I overplayed my hand, now it's all gone. Still you are my favorite creation. I was hypnotized by the
It was a
chase.
marathon race.
Some folk were a little upset,
What a way.
though my heart was in the right place. Still I wake and regret.
Lest we forget.
If you'll hear out this old fool's
At the end of all
advice,
days,
you're successful as the last hand you
it
played.
faded away.
Oh, I paid out the heaviest price for those memories, I say.
Still see her face.
In all the years, through the centuries, this was my finest creation. Through birth and death, sunshine and tears, yes, you were my finest creation. Oh, you are my finest creation.
Yeah, there we are. His finest creation live. Yeah, we worked on that little kind of end line. I thought it'd be nice if Lorna finished it off with me. So that'll be a very nice thing. Looking forward to that. We've got some quite complicated backing vocals to go in that, of which we haven't done the rehearsal for that yet, because we got almost to the end. I think we got up to about pressure cooker or something like that on the last vocal rehearsal. We've got another vocal rehearsal next Wednesday where we're going to do everything else. So nothing can possibly go wrong there as far as concerned there. But they're sounding great. They're sounding really good. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting putting this together. Okay, so we'll just have another wee look at the quiz question, and I think you're probably right, Ingo. Paul, perfect answer. I think you do have all of them. Just what I would say is, let's just check this up on screen. Although we don't need a tiebreaker because you've got the answer right, but the tiebreaker, put them in order of recording. There is one song there that is out of place. I don't know if you can think what it is, but I'll tell you why that is a little bit later on. But you've won the prize, so it's all right, it's okay. You won the prize, but I'll tell you what they are a little bit later on. Hang on, sorry, let's come back here. Okay, so I reckon we should nip across to Sonar and just kind of pick up this. Some of you may have noticed that this is a new version of Sonar, so it's an all black screen. Now, it's not what I would normally do. I had a lot of colors everywhere, but I can't be bothered to go in and change it. There is a theme editor, I could, but at least the waves are a good color. That's good, isn't it? So the waves have stayed the colors that they were, and we have this here. So finest creation, if you look at the top here at the backing vocals, you'll see that there is only one lot of backing vocals there. This is one that I wanted this to feel a bit more stripped down. Sorry, I'm just, why is that there? I see. Oh, I see. Yeah. I wanted to feel a bit more stripped down. So we didn't double these backing vocals. This is just me. Excuse me. It's just me doing these. But they're pretty nice, I think. I'm quite happy with these. Have you ever listened?
It's my finest creation. Ooh.
yeah, that sort of thing. Most of that is just cut and pasted all the way through. It's quite nice. They really just follow the chords, but there's a couple of little odd ones there. My fondness for using add nines or add ninth chords carries through from my guitar playing into the harmonies and the string arrangements and everything there is quite interesting. This was a song I did redo the lead vocal on this. In fact, this was the only one. I think Second Coming I did a second take of Second Coming because I had a cold when I did it. But this one I just felt I wasn't really nailing it. I was singing it too hard or something like that. The very first version that I did was closest. And then I did another one and I thought, oh no, that's completely wrong. And so I had to go back and actually just lay it back the way it really should have been. But it took me a little longer to really get into exactly how this should be. And so obviously we have bass and drums here on this version of it, which I'll play you the whole one when we do the video at the end. I'll play the bass and drums version. But this is quite a nice change when they come in from what you hear on the album.
Tears, yes, you were my finest creation. My childhood really wasn't the best, but I learned of love through this little place. Now we finally lay them to rest. All I see is your face. I recall a time when the sun...
etc. There we are. The bass and drums really kind of add a different kind of flavour to it. Very much like the way James Taylor would have done it. I would have said this is one of my long line of songs that is quite in a James Taylor mould. Even the way he would do the backing vocals, and certainly the bass and drums in that are very much kind of that thing he would do with him playing acoustic guitar. So yeah, the song has some similarities there. There's no pyrotechnical drums on this, as you would imagine. It really is just, just play the song and don't do too much else. At the bottom here, I've got strings. And these almost didn't make the album because when I bounced in the fake ones and I was listening to it and I'm going, they don't really sound that nice. They don't quite do what I wanted them to do. But I should have trusted myself and gone, well, yeah, but when you put real strings on, they always sound far, far, far better. And of course, that's what I did. I thought, well, I've got the strings in, I'll record them anyway. And we put them down, and of course they sound magnificent. Probably that they come out more on the stripped down version than they do on this, but they do still really sound very nice. Have a listen to this. There's something American sounding about it, a bit like Aaron Copland, his strings. Like that, it's expansive out on the plains. Out on the plains of America, you see the wheat blowing in the wind. So that's very nice. And probably when you hear the strings come in this middle section is the thing where it's the nicest almost. So this is with the band. But what I'll do is I'll make the strings louder in the mix so you really get the idea. Yeah, etc. So those are very nice. There's some quite interesting chords in amongst that. Have a listen solo. Yeah, very nice. I like them a lot. So yeah, they almost didn't make the album. Would have worked. Would have worked absolutely fine without them. But I am glad that they're there. And funny enough, that's the one thing that James Taylor hardly ever does. He hardly ever uses strings. But he did on a song called "Caroline, I See You," which is absolutely beautiful track, and the strings on that are mind-blowingly good. And so yeah, some of that writing was kind of modeled on that idea of not too much, not too overbearing, nice little strands of things coming in and out. And there we are. There's not very much else to report on that. What is quite interesting is the interplay between the Fender Rhodes piano. I think it's Fender Rhodes on this. Usually I would use a Wurlitzer, but this I really did want to be a little bit more soft and nice. So have a little listen to these two together. Difficult to hear the Rhodes on that, but it's essentially playing what Vibes would play. If you ever listen to this. Yeah, it's a bit like a doorbell, really. I modelled my Fender Rhodes playing on a doorbell. So interplay between them here. This was the sort of song I was careful with every note of this. I spent quite a lot of time on the guitar part, just finding those little minor against major chords and that which is a quite a nice run, but quite hard to play. It certainly doesn't fall under the fingers and utilizes some of the open strings that you have to keep ringing. But yeah, between the two, it needed to be good. Because if there was only going to be acoustic guitar and Rhodes were the only instruments on it, it needed to sound quite full in itself, and it needed to sound nice in itself, which I think it does. Of course, once you put the bass and drums in, it all kind of melds in a little bit more, and you don't notice as much. But it is quite important to get those right if you're going to do a stripped-down version of it. So there we are. There's not too much to report about that song. It is. It's simplicity itself, but like all simple songs, that sometimes requires a little bit more work and a little bit more, perhaps a wee bit more agonizing over it than I normally would. I'm going to come down to me again here, and I think we'll get rid of that. That's good. No, I'm not going to save it. Sorry. Well, I'm just seeing your comments here. Yes, Elaine, it makes her cry. Yeah, she's cried quite a lot through this album, and also through the other ones, through Cartoon World, through the Ununited Nations album. Yeah, yeah, Paul. I think the strings do a very nice job, underplaying it, trying to just do a little bit less. Wasn't a complicated arrangement to write, but I just felt like I wanted to get that one right. It's an important point in the story, that point in the story that draws people in and makes you listen to it a little bit more. So important to get those things right. Yeah. Okay, so we come back down here. What was I going to say? We come to some news, and I'm going to start with a little bit of news because there's something that I wanted to play here. A good friend of mine, Dave Daggers, who I lived with for a little while, he came out to Thailand. It's actually where Carrie and I got together, was at his place, drinking lots of wine around his place, and he died. Quite unexpectedly just before Christmas. He's the sort of guy who would have wanted to have lived forever, and he was larger than life, and he wrote these kind of outrageous songs called things like Psychopaths on the Cycle Path, and songs like Someone Thinks You're Special, but it's not me. And then there's a few songs that I did. We did a kind of celebration of his life last Friday, and that's why Lorna came down. And I'm going to play you something in a minute that Lorna joined me on a beautiful song called Black Death, historical drama, but like all of Dave's songs, funny, witty, a bit punky. There's a great line at the end of the chorus. You can't quite pick it out on what we're doing, but he's actually saying black and death, black and death, black and death, black and death. That's his kind of humour all over. He'll just play with words and make them work. The whole night was a great success. And it must be said, when I started to play Dave's songs with his original band, it all went wild. The audience went wild. They're all singing along with everything, as you'll see in the little clip that we're going to do. So I'm going to play you this clip now. This is Black Death. I'm going to not play the song Dave and the Daggers because the line. It might upset some people. The lines are, we're Dave and the Daggers, we're Dave and the Daggers, we're Dave and the Daggers, and we can't play an effing thing. So that's the way the song kind of goes on. But it, again, is very funny. But in any case, I'm going to play you. This is Black Death live at Dave's celebration of life last week. Here we go. Get yourselves ready for this.
I'm feeling all day. I think I got my play. I'm feeling out of sorts. My face is full of work. I got a lot of pain from the rats in the train. I'm feeling melancholy because I think I got my play. Black death, black death, black death. I think it's getting worse. Don't get it worse. Oh, you're gonna get a hurt. It's 193. I'm feeling rather sick. I'm running out of breath. Come on, I'm a black death. Oh, yeah.
So there we are. That was Black Death.
Thank you all.
Let's get rid of that. Rick Nicholas, you just come in at a point of extreme high musicality. You know, you found out that was Black Death. That was my mate who passed away at the beginning of last year, and we played some of his songs with his original band. He used to rehearse with him every Friday for about 10 years. He used to write these new songs and then try them out with people and whatnot. It's got a bit of a legend around Cardiff. That was good fun, and good fun to have Lorna there with me doing that. And Scott's here. Excellent. Good to see you, Scott. What else are we going to do? Other news, Heritage Chart, yes, we're number 43. We're hoping that it is going to go up significantly, or at least creep its way into the top 40, because then hopefully Mike will play the video, of which, of course, you've seen the Come Summer video. The Come Summer video is a thing of great beauty, and Elaine does a great vocal on that, so it would be very nice to get that a bit more into the charts. So if you haven't voted, vote now. That'll be a good thing to do. As I said, we've got rehearsals, vocal rehearsal next Wednesday, full band rehearsal next Thursday. You might record a little bit of something for the live stream on Thursday night. That could be a good thing to do. Let's see what we can do with that. And then that's 2 weeks. Yeah, next Thursday is 2 weeks before the Earl Hay gig, before the first gig, and 3 weeks before Chapel Arts. All going to be good fun, I think. Yeah. All going to be good fun. What else we got? Little bits of other news. We said before there's a possible date up in Merthyr, October or November. So that could be a good venue. I think that we talked about the Corgis box set last week. And that was in fact the prize of the extra things on the box set. When we were talking about those songs on the box set, James said to me, there's one song, it's the last song that Andy and I wrote together, and it's called No Other Love, and he said, I think it's a great song, and I think it is a great song. I think if we were gonna do it, I'd like to rewrite some of it. I think I'll tell you what it is. I think the verse is a little bit ordinary, that we could do something more interesting with the verse. It might be just a question of varying the chords or something like that underneath it. But the verse is just a vamp. But when it hits the chorus, it's like, oh, this is nice. And it's the sort of thing that would have fit with Coffee in New York. It's that kind of soul thing, of which the Corgis don't do very much of. But I thought we would play it to you now. I put a tiny little, really very, very rough video together for it, just so you didn't have to look at my face while we're hearing it. But anyway, this is No Other Love Will Do, the very last song that Andy and James wrote together. Here, coming at you. Honest, perhaps. Oh, I've lost it now. Okay. Okay, I'll come back down. I've no idea what happened. What happened there then? I think we went to the wrong one. All right, let's try this again. Yes, this is better.
Love we had that seems
Yeah, No Other Love Will Do. Yeah, a great song that. Yeah, I talked to Andy about it and I said, I think the verses are a bit workman-like, aren't they? And he went, yeah, we just kind of slung it together. And also, obviously, that drum pattern, that all the way through it would benefit from everything that everyone says there. Yes, real strings, all of that stuff, and brass doing all that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff would be really good for it. We'll see. The idea was that we would maybe do a little soul collection with that and Coffee in New York and stuff like that. But that was a good while ago. And we'll, we don't have plans to do it at the moment, but it is a good one. Could be another number one. Yeah, I can actually see that being another number one. People going, they've done it again. Well, after Coffee in New York, they've done it again. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, that was it. Paul, let us know what you think of the songs from the box set when you maybe when we reconnect next week, or something like that. See what you think of it. It's a mixed bag. The songs that were on there. There's a few things that I really thought shouldn't be on there, and then there's another couple of things that you guys knew that I didn't know before in that little collection. So tell you what, let's go back to the quiz question. Now, I've already let the cat out the bag that it is Paul Griffin has won, because he was spot on with the answer. That is exactly what the songs that Lorna has done. Lorna Douglas featured on 1 Corgi song and 4 Al Steele and Friends songs. What are they? And the tiebreaker, put them in order of recording. You were absolutely right, Paul, other than the very last thing that she recorded was His Finest Creation. And the reason for that is because I hadn't actually written those extra little vocal lines, and I just thought, it would be nice if Demeter came back into the story right at the end, because likely she'd end up in the prison with him. And I knew that, I had this idea of doing the video for it. I'll come back down to us here. Had this idea of doing the video for it, of her and I in some prison cell kind of situation. And I thought it would be nice if she actually sung something. So I wrote some of those lines. So it's definitely an afterthought. And she wasn't coming up here at any point. We talked about, can I meet you in London somewhere? I'll take some mobile recording stuff up, even if we do it in a car or something like that. In the end, I booked her a studio in Hastings that she went into, and I kind of liaised with her as she was doing the vocal recording there. So that's the only thing that wasn't recorded here, her little vocal there. So everything else was exactly as you would imagine it. And by the skin of your teeth, you were correct in the fact that I think you put down, Letter to Geelong first and then The Perfect Song. What did I put down here on the paper? Yeah, is that what you put down? I'm pretty sure it was. Hang on, I'm just going to check here. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we got together. We'd done a holiday out in northern Spain, and we were all out there. And it was because we drove down through France. Because I was driving, I decided to take a guitar with me, and I never take a guitar on holiday. I just have a complete break from music. Well, I don't really, but I don't normally take guitar. But at this point, I did, and so when everyone else went to bed, I was busy kind of writing a few songs here and there, and one of them was, I wonder what I can do with this idea that Joe Matera sent through, and it was Letter to Geelong, and we were doing it, and I was writing the lyrics as we were there, and I was talking about them to Lorna. And she said, that'd make a really... I talked about different people doing different verses, and I was just going to do it as a family song. It wasn't going to be a Corgi song, because it was only Joe and I wrote it. It wasn't the rest of the Corgis. So it was going to be a family song, and she said, that'd be a nice project to do. Maybe at Christmas, when we get together for Christmas, we'll go out to the studio and do it. And I think at that point as well, I had written the perfect song. And in fact, the perfect song was in the frame to be a Corgi song as well. Particularly John Baker really liked it. But when I put the idea to the Corgis of, hey, we could get all the families involved, because of course everyone's kids sing. They all sing, and they're all good. And so they talked to their kids and all went, yeah, everyone's really up for doing it. So it became a Corgi song in the end. But it was just me writing it from Joe's idea out in Spain, and Lorna and I talking through the ideas and all of that. So we went in that Christmas and recorded that. And you're right, we recorded Letter to Geelong, but then we recorded the perfect song afterwards. And Lorna and Leah sung various bits on that. And so, of course, that's what we're going to be doing at Chapel Arts and at the Earl Hague is Emily, my granddaughter, is going to come along and take the place of Leah, because Leah doesn't enjoy getting up on stage. She goes, no, it's your thing. It's not my thing. I don't want to do it. Lorna and Emily are going to come up and they can take a verse each of that, and Emily's going to do the verse. Joe is learning guitar for Letter to Geelong, so that should be really good fun. Having some of the family up on stage. It's all just going to be a big party and a bit of a hoot. And the Let's Play the God game thing, well, we'll see how it goes. We're not going to try and plow through it. I'm going to explain a wee bit as we go along where we are in the story for people that might not have the album, and we'll see how that all goes. What I was going to say, Paul, I'm going to send you this. CD with Lorna stuff on it, which both of those songs she's done are really good. But would you like a couple of posters as well? I don't know. I know it's difficult putting posters up around the house, but perhaps even if you didn't put them up around the house, the Ununited Nations one, the Cartoon World one, have all the liner notes on the other side of them. So it's just in a different format than you had. So you just let me know what you want, and I'll send it through to you. Yeah. There we are. I think we've kind of pretty much got to the end of this. I know it's difficult. I haven't got anyone to talk against. So I think we're going to sign off, and we're going to sign off with the version of his finest creation that is going to be the single version with the bass and drums on it. I'm going to see if I can... oh yeah, we do have the little piece that goes before it called Gordon Regrets. Again, was a very late addition to the album. I just thought, it seems like there's not enough time in between Second Coming and his finest creation, because time is supposed to have elapsed. And he's supposed to have time to learn his lesson. So Second Coming, we got added the little piece called Gordon Descends, which is me doing doing all of that stuff. I'm going down. We added that little bit to it, which again just gave a little space. And then I did the piece called Gordon Regrets, which was a piano piece originally. I thought, this would sound very nice with strings on it, dark strings underneath the whole thing. And so that's what we did, and it gave it a little bit more space before Finest Creation comes in. You'll see us doing this in the car park, and you'll see the bit where I kind of try and snap my fingers and get my guitar to come, which of course it doesn't arrive. So it should be it was great fun doing it in there, even though everyone's going, God, there's people looking. So I'm going to sign off. I'm going to leave you with his finest creation, but with Gordon Regrets before it. And this is a single version of it. And we'll see you next week. And we're going to have a bit of a get together. We're going to reenact the opening party. We're going to have a little bit of a closing party for the last song. We'll bring wine. I'm sure Lyndon and Pod will be very happy about that. Probably Elaine will be very happy about that as well, I would imagine. Yeah, there we are. See you next week. Thanks all for joining us. And I'm going to leave you with his finest creation, the single version. Here we go. Bye.
centuries. This was my finest creation. Through birth and death, sunshine and tears, yes, you were my finest creation. My childhood really wasn't the best, but I learned of love through this little place. Now we finally lay them to rest. All I see is your face. I recall a time when the sun still shone. It gave warmth to my greatest creation. I overplayed my hand. Now it's all gone. Still you were my favorite creation. I was hypnotized by the chase. Some folk were a little upset. Though my heart was in the right place, still I wake and if you'll hear out this old fool's advice, you're successful as the last hand you played. But I paid out the heaviest price for those memories I saved. In all the years, through the centuries, this was my finest creation. Through birth and death, sunshine and tears, yes, you were my finest creation.